Hey everybody, Austin back again, continuing this July 2014 Sega Master System Let's Play Marathon. As you can see here, we've got the Master System version of OutRun, which I'll be attempting to play through. This version of OutRun really isn't that good, but I'm really partial to OutRun, and if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, you know that I love me some OutRun. About as much as I love me some Quake and Doom and Pinball. OutRun is one of my all-time favorite arcade games, and it's one I still play fairly frequently. I mean, I don't have to dedicate much time to it. I can spend 10 or 15 minutes and roll through the game once or twice. But I do it several times a year, and it's one of those games I love to play still. I love the music, I love the general gameplay, it's really fun. I still love the arcade version. If I ever see the arcade version, I have to play it. Simple as that. So, but yeah, here we've got the SMS or Master System version. It's got some frame rate issues. It's got some perspective issues as well. Like, you'll be driving on the track, and then before you know it, in 3 frames, you'll be on the top of a hill, and you won't be able to see where the hell you're going. And yeah, and if you're playing it with a Master System controller, you can accidentally, just like in my Hang On Let's Play I described, you can accidentally shift down or shift up when you don't mean to, and that can really screw you up. And OutRun, much like Hang On, is a time-based game, and if you don't make it to the checkpoint in time, well, you lose, and there are no continues, you game over. Although, it doesn't really matter that much, I guess, because OutRun's not a very long game. OutRun's got a lot of variety because there's multiple endings, and there's multiple pathways to take, but it only takes you about 5 or 6 minutes to actually beat the game. So, with all that said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the game. And go ahead and pick some music. We might end up playing through this a couple of times, because like I said, it is not a long game at all. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with my favorite track, which has always been Passing Breeze. It's very more chill, but then it gets very melodic towards the end, which I've always really liked it. And, but yeah, we'll go ahead and play through it a couple times, most likely. And, so yeah, you have to tap down and up to shift up and down in this game, just like I mentioned earlier, in the same way with Hang On. Now, if you're using a standard Master System controller with the big square directional pad, you can actually accidentally press up or down by accident without even really realizing you did it because of how that D-pad is laid out and how sensitive that D-pad is. But for these Let's Plays I've been doing for all this marathon, I've actually been using a Sega Genesis 6-button controller, which in my opinion has one of the best directional pads ever created, and it's still one of the most accurate and most comfortable directional pads. And I'm talking the official Sega the official Sega 6-button, not the ones that were created when Majesco re-released the hardware. So basically from the Genesis 3 and on are the bad 6-button controllers, and from Genesis 2 and, well, pretty much in the Genesis 2 era, that's when we got the good directional pads and 6-button layout pads. So that is what I'm using right now. And so here's our first path change. It's a little bit different in the Master System version than the arcade. The road sort of does this flickering back and forth thing, and depending on which side you're on, the road will just change to that side. In the arcade version, the road actually splits off, and you actually go to the left or the right, and it's very seamless. The Master System version, obviously, it's a Master System. It's not capable of all the scaling and so forth that we got in the arcade version, but that's kind of why it looks kind of goofy when it's about to change the tracks. You've also got some segments in this game where your car shifts all the way to the back, and it's more like you're just moving left and right. Which, I mean, that's technically how the game always is, but there's very little perspective, no turning or anything like that. Like right here, it feels like I'm playing Space Invaders, but in a car, in a way, and I can't shoot. So, as you can see, the backgrounds aren't very detailed in this game. You do have some cool things, like when the pillars, or when you're driving through the pillars and stuff like that, it's pretty cool. But for the most of the game, like, this is kind of cool right here. It's very choppy, though, just like Space Harrier in the Master System. But for the sides of the tracks, on the other hand, are pretty much the same throughout the entire game, aside from a change of roadside objects. Like those rocks will probably turn into trees later on, or they'll turn into bushes or something like that. But The ground is always a solid color, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame in my book, but I mean, I guess they probably could have only done so much with this game at the time they made the game, which was probably 86 or 87. I don't remember what the title screen said. Maybe it was 88, but I think it was probably one of the earlier games on the system. See, look, there's windmills now. But yeah, pretty much the whole game is the same in that regard. You know, the far, far background will change, which is cool. But most of the other things don't change in this game. Ah, I knew that was going to happen. That was bad. I might not beat this course now, because you get punished big time for wrecking in this game. And I just did, technically. And that was a dumb mistake, too. I should have completely avoided that. And I would have, had I braked, or used my brakes. Now, unlike Hang On for the Master System, you actually have no way of telling how far you are on the current section. And so, I really have no idea how much longer I have to go. So that's one of the tense things about OutRun, is you're just like, oh please, I'm running out of time. Please let there be a checkpoint. It looks like there's a checkpoint right now. So, now I'm not sure if this is the same way in this version, but in the arcade version of OutRun, going to the right would take you to a harder route. So, in the beginning I was going left, but now I've been going right. So technically this game should get more challenging as I progress. And we'll see if I can just use my hang-on tactics, where I brake a lot and downshift to sort of get through this game. It's really good to go into turns at high speed, just like I mentioned in my hang-on Let's Play. If you guys haven't watched that yet, go check it out. It's a relatively short Let's Play. It's not long. I run through hang-on about 3 times. Or run through the main course about 3 times. And sort of describe how to play it and show you how you can get through it successfully every time, pretty much. But OutRun, I think you could pretty much play it about the same way, on the Master System anyway. The arcade version is a little bit different. You can go through turns a lot faster, generally, in the arcade one. In many instances, anyway. So this is getting a little bit trickier. There's a lot of hills and stuff like that, and that's kind of annoying, because again, like I said, it could be tough to see over the hills. And I honestly don't think I'm going to make this, because we're already down to 13 seconds. What the hell happened? Yeah, I'm definitely not going to make it now. I haven't even gotten to the checkpoint or the split yet. I think the split's going to be right up here. So it looks like downshifting didn't do me any good. Like I was downshifting, but yeah, that's it. And this tells you how far you got in the game. See, what I'll do next time is I will... You know, I'm going to play this 2 more times, since it obviously didn't take me that long. Let's do this again. We'll do Magical Sound Shower this time. What I'm going to do is actually take the far right path the entire time and see if I can beat it. On our last play, what I'll do is I'll go all left, which I probably should have done in the beginning just to guarantee success. And actually, you know, I should rephrase that. You never say in OutRun that success is guaranteed, because the slightest mistake can totally screw you over for the rest of your run. And you'll basically, what'll happen is just what happened to me this last playthrough, is I'll lose halfway through. Because the time will run out, because I will have crashed, or I will have bumped into an enemy like that. So that little bump right there could have very well have screwed me over for the rest of my run. But I guess we'll find out shortly. It could definitely help you in your run a lot if you can really perfect this first section of the game. Because if you can get through this first course really quickly, that gives you several extra seconds to use to continue through the game. And every second counts in this game, trust me. And taking your corners sharper helps a lot as well. If you can do that, I think it could definitely help you out. Hard turn. I'm trying to take it as full speed as I possibly can right now. It's a little tough right here because there's nothing telling me where the road's going to turn. Like, it's just turning on its own, and normally there's signs telling me which way it's going to turn, and that's the hard part about this second track if you go right. And when you downshift, you really lose speed, especially if you brake. I think that's what happened on my last playthrough, is I accidentally shifted down and put my feet on the brakes, and it like literally took my speed down to like 50 miles an hour versus, or kilometers an hour versus 290. So I was really only going at a fraction of the speed, which really hurt me. So when you're braking in this game, I guess it's best to pretty much just tap it lightly. Downshifting definitely helps so you can lose speed quickly without veering off to the edge of the track and smashing into something. But, doing pretty well. Alright, that's good. 23 seconds. Yeah, making your turns sharper definitely helps a lot, and trying to get through the turns is at high speed, highest of a speed possible, goes a long ways with this game. Just like so. Now, when the turns get too sharp or you get too far to the edge, you really got to brake or downshift like I just did. But then you've got to give yourself time to get back up to speed. So that's... Whoa! What the hell, man? The track totally just like shifted out of control there, and that really screwed me up. That could very well just like completely ruin my run, like I said. Or even if I get through this one, I might not be able to get through the last one. We'll see. I'll try to remain... What the hell, man? See, this is the kind of crap that sucks about this game, is the signs were turning left, yet the course turned right. Like, yeah, I can complain all I want about it, but in reality, it's like, that's something you'll learn the more you play this game. You'll learn this specific course, because these courses don't ever change. They're always the same. They always turn at the same point. So I guess you could say that's part of the charm of this game, is the memorization factor, but I don't remember the arcade version turning in such weird ways though as this one has. That's my only complaint so far. I mean, it's hard to recommend this version of OutRun if you've got the means to play OutRun elsewhere, like on the Sega Genesis or on the Saturn. The Saturn's got a great version of OutRun. It's pretty much just about arcade perfect. So I mean, there's little reason to play the Master System version unless you just absolutely can't get OutRun somewhere else. But for what it is, it's still, you know, and for all its shortcomings, like the choppy animation and movement and so forth, it's still a fun game in a kind of a strange way. Like, it shouldn't be fun, but it is at the same time. I don't know, it's hard to explain. The game controls fine, which is odd, considering the choppiness of the frame rate and how everything moves. But, of course, the frame rate obviously speeds up a little bit once you have nothing on screen. Like, that's going to kill me again. I sped all the way down to pretty much 0 miles an hour. And the road's going crazy back and forth. I don't know if I'm going to make it. 9 seconds left. Is this it? This might be it. It is it. Wow. I did it with 5 seconds left. Look at that. Whew. I thought those 2 mistakes were going to kill me. Ah! Where do all these people come from? They just appeared out of nowhere. See, in the arcade version, all those people would have scaled in. Or they would have walked in. One of the great things about OutRun is the endings are always sort of like lighthearted but funny. Like there's one where your woman gets out and she like smacks you. And there's one in the arcade version, I think, where like I want to say a trophy's delivered to you on like a camel or something. I don't know if your girlfriend like rides off with the camel. There's a lot of goofy humor like that, which always let OutRun have a certain bit of charm to it. So we're at 16 minutes right now. Let's go ahead and run through the game once more. We'll do Splash Wave. And we'll go ahead and take the far left path. And we'll see how much more or less challenging it is. If it's like the arcade version, it should be less challenging. So hopefully less turns, you know, that don't have turn signs. That was what really got me in that last playthrough, is the fact that the road was turning without the turn signs. Now, I know that happens in the arcade game, but it's not so jittery like it is right here. Like, those turns I just took were really, really jittery. In the arcade version, it's like nice, long, and smooth turns in the beginning. Not jittery turns that make you go back and forth. If there's something in the arcade version that really makes you go back and forth, there's usually a sign for it. You know, it's the same way with OutRun 2 in the arcade, which was a phenomenal game, mind you guys. You have to play that game if you haven't played OutRun 2. Available on the original Xbox and on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Portable. That's a must-buy. One of the best arcade-style racing games ever, if you ask me. In this classic racing game style anyway. So, alright, so we're pretty much right at the checkpoint now, right at the split. And every time the road curves up like that, it looks like it's going to start turning. It's one of the issues with this game, is you'll be going so fast, the road will just all of a sudden be up, and you'll be at the top of it, and you won't be able to see over it. All in like 2 frames. So it gets very disorienting. Now I know we've already seen this stage, but I knew we have to play it again if we were going to take the far left path. So, sorry for that, guys. I hate doing duplicate footage in these Let's Plays, but we should get through it pretty quickly. So... So while I'm kind of just sitting here, admiring these columns, I'd like to know if you've ever played an OutRun game before. I would like to know your thoughts on this series. OutRun is one of my favorite franchises out there. I've played the hell out of many of them, from the first OutRun to OutRunners on the Genesis, which is a great game, which a lot of people don't really know of, to OutRun 2, as well as OutRunners, the arcade version. Not the Genesis version, because it's terrible. But I love OutRun. It's one of my favorite racing game franchises out there. And but I'd like to know if you've played OutRun and what you think of it. Not specifically the Master System version, but just OutRun in general. So be sure to post your comments below. And let me know what you think of the series. And how much you love it or hate it. So here we are, we're in the desert, apparently, and yeah, let's see how much more difficult this gets. So we got signs telling us where it's going to go right, signs telling us it's going to go left. Not many signs, it's like one sign, and it starts turning. There's another one. So those signs told us it's going to split back and forth, same with those signs. And I'm going so slow right now. I don't think I like this course. Stop going back and forth like this. Stop it. There we go. I thought I was going to be able to skirt by that that car, but the hitboxes are a little large in this game, so that didn't work out to my benefit. Hey. Alright, we gotta be towards the end if I only have 20 seconds left. That or I've been going through it so slow, I'm gonna run out of time. I don't know which. Alright, come on, checkpoint. We're almost at the end. Oh, shoot, I might not make this. I don't think I'm gonna make this. 3, 2, 1. Oh, right at the last second. Oh, man, I have to do really well now, because that was really bad. I thought the left path was supposed to be easier, man. I want my money back. Fuck. Alright, well, I don't think we're beating this, man. I just said man, like I'm talking to a single dude. I don't think I'm beating this, everyone. I think I am... I think I failed. I know, I'm being negative, but, yeah. Yeah, see, I don't know about the left path being easier. I know in the arcade version it's definitely easier. I've definitely beaten OutRun a lot more frequently on the left path than the far right path. Like right here, you can't even see what's coming up over the hill. You know? That's definitely one of the bad things about this version of OutRun. Like, you just feel like, I don't know. It's like a kick in the balls. It's like, thanks. What the hell? Why does my speed keep dropping like that? I barely touched the brakes. I mean, that was weird. My speed just completely dropped, and I barely even touched the brakes on that one. There's got to be some other issues with the game I don't know about that really affects your braking like that. Well, that's kind of sad, people. I was hoping I'd beat it at least twice, but at least we made it through it once, which is good. So, but yeah, so there you have it, everyone. OutRun for the Sega Master System. It's kind of a strangely fun and addictive game, even though it's kind of choppy and it's got some really bad design choices, like those hills. Those hills probably shouldn't have even been in this version, with how choppy they are. And, you know, they really probably should not have been in the game. So yeah, and you know, I'm thinking maybe they probably should have less trees on the side as well. Like, do one tree every now and then, maybe that would speed up the frame rate a little bit. Or maybe not, it doesn't look like it is, now that I think about it. Oh man, there's a lot of flicker there too. Whew. Wow. Yeah, it's still a fun game. It's not the version of OutRun I would recommend first to really anybody. Really, get it on the Saturn, pay the price, it's totally worth it. Or if you get OutRun 2 on the original Xbox, you can actually unlock the original OutRun from the arcade if you put in enough time and meet a certain amount of goals or something like that. Totally worth it. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back with another Sega Master System Let's Play very soon to continue this Master System Let's Play marathon. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days. So until then, take care.